Audio Jungle.
It's a new world out there, go make it. Doesn't it matter? We jump for the stars and fly. പുതിയൊരു ലോകം ഇളം തെന്നൽ മൂളുന്ന ഗാനം ഇളവയിൽ പോലുള്ള സ്നേഹം കിനാക്കൾ കടം തന്ന ലോകം മലർച്ചെണ്ടിൽ ഓരോ മുട്ടും ഓരോ സ്വപ്നം അവയിൽ കാണാതാകുന്നീതോരോ മോഹം ഓരോ വർണ്ണം ആരാരോ പാടുവതാനി നീ ആരാധരാഗം അറിയാമോ പിറാക്കളെ ഇന്നിനി എൻ ജീവിതം പുതിയൊരു ലോകം ഇളം തെന്നൽ മൂളുന്ന ഗാനം ഇളവയിൽ പോലുള്ള സ്നേഹം കിനാക്കൾ കടം തന്ന ലോകം. It's a new world out there, yeah.
വെള്ളത്തൂടി പുകയ്ക്കാനായി ചന്ദനത്തിൻ ദിഗിഹരി അലങ്കാരം രണ്ടും വീതം ഭംഗിയുണ്ട അവസാനം വിശ്രമിക്കാൻ മണ്ണിനടി വെട്ടിൻ പായെടുത്ത് വാതിൽ മുട്ടാൻ വിരവില്ലാതെ നട്ടപ്പാതിരങ്ങൾ പാട്ടുപുഴക്കാൻ പതിവില്ലാതെ പെട്ടെന്നാകെ മുന്നിൽ കുത്തിയോരോ നിഴലാടുമ്പോൾ കണ്ടിട്ടോടിടല്ലേ ഓടിടല്ലേ ചെയ്യും പിഴ 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 അതില്ല തൊഴും ഇല്ല സമാനില്ല നിങ്ങൾക്ക്
Good evening, all. It brings me immense joy to wholeheartedly welcome you all on behalf of Marian Academy of Management Studies. Today is the last day of our 5-day faculty development program focusing on exploring the role of generative AI in management and technology. Today, we will be dealing with the topic AI trends and insights, where we will explore the latest trends and insights that are driving innovation and transforming the way we live and work. Now, with utmost pleasure and honor, I welcome each and every one of you to this esteemed gathering. It is with great pleasure that I extend a heartfelt welcome to our esteemed management, our chairman, Chevalier Professor Baby M. Verghese sir, our manager, Ms. Jessie Baby Verghese ma'am, our vice chairman, Mr. Ajay Baby Verghese sir, and our director, Mr. G. Aravind sir. We are honored to have our respected principal, Dr. Solomon K. Peters sir, who inspired us with his leadership and vision. I welcome you, sir. Next, I would like to welcome our beloved IQAC coordinator, Dr. Ashwati AM, who always support and guide us. I welcome you, ma'am. Joining us today is our esteemed resource person, Dr. James George. Your expertise and insight are instrumental in shaping our educational initiatives, and we are grateful for your presence here today, sir. I welcome you, sir. Last, but certainly not least, I extend a hearty welcome to all our esteemed faculty members, staff, and participants. I welcome you all once again. It is now time to commence the session. We are incredibly honored and delighted to have Dr. James George as our esteemed resource person for today's session. Dr. James George is an associate professor at Chandagiri Institute of Management with a PhD in Human Resource Management from MKU. He holds an MBA with specialization in HR and marketing from DePaul Institute of Science and Technology and an MSW from Bharatiyar University along with a NET qualification. With over 13 years of experience in teaching and industry, he has expertise in areas like business law, management, information systems, strategic management, and many more. He is also an entrepreneur who founded Altro, focusing on academic learning, training, and research services for the Indian education sector. Dr. James George is also well known for his expertise in training sections on various management topics and has made significant contributions to research with publication in national and international journals, along with presentations at research level conference all across India. I am pleased to introduce and hand over the virtual floor to Dr. James George, our esteemed resource person for today's section. Sir, please.
Yes. Am I audible? Devika, can you please confirm?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So, very good evening to all. And first of all, I would like to thank the entire team of Marian Academy, especially Principal Dr. Solomon K. Peter, IQAC Coordinator Dr. Ashwati, and Program Convener Mr. Mahesh Sir, everybody, team of Marian Academy of Management Studies. My heartfelt thanks to each one of you for inviting me to this national level FDP program. And shall I share my PPT? The
Sure, sir.
presentation? Right, okay. I hope the slides are visible, right?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Yeah. Artificial intelligence trends and insights. First of all, I hope it's been 5 days, right? This is the last day of the FTP program. I hope you might have gone through almost all the fundamental concepts related to artificial intelligence. And now it's time for me to give you the basic trends in this sector.
Excuse me, sir.
Right.
Sir, can you make your screen full screen, please?
Now, is it okay? Can somebody please confirm
Sir.
whether it's okay?
Sir, can you please press F5? So I think it will be okay. Okay, sir.
Now it's fine, right?
Now it's fine, sir.
Shall I continue the presentation?
Sure, sir, sure.
Yeah, okay. As I mentioned, since it's been 5 days or the last day of this FDP program, I hope you have gone through the fundamentals related to artificial intelligence. So let me confine the topic to a specific framework like basic introduction, then we can discuss about the trends and what is expected in future and some basic tools of AI which would be helpful in academic field also. And let me start with a very simple question. What is the most complicated object in the world? Can anybody respond? What is the most complicated object in the world? What do you think? I hope you guys are there. I'm not getting any response. And a clue is displayed on the left part of this slide.
A man's thought process.
Yeah, right. Okay, ma'am, thank you very much for the response. But specifically, you believe it or not, we have 100 billion neurons in our brain. 100 billion neurons. And beyond that, these 100 billion neurons, apart from that, we have around 100 trillion connections, 100 trillion parameters in our brain. And that itself makes it a very complicated object to handle. And in artificial intelligence, the attempt, otherwise, we are attempting to replicate these neural networks in artificial intelligence. I repeat, in artificial intelligence, the concept is very simple in the sense to explain, otherwise, to have a basic explanation for artificial intelligence. We are trying to replicate these neural networks, okay? And from this diagrammatical representation, you can understand to what extent people are fascinated towards generative AI, otherwise artificial intelligence, general artificial intelligence. I hope that diagram is visible to everyone. You can just observe that over the last 2 years' time, the number of times, how many times people have searched the keyword generative AI. That's what mentioned there. How many times specifically the term generative AI it's been searched. That's what displayed. Around 368. Otherwise close to 400K, almost 4 lakhs, right? That itself shows people's inclination, otherwise that interest towards generative AI, otherwise artificial intelligence tools. There could be different reasons for this interest. For example, exploring the otherwise developing areas of learning purposes, of advancements in career. Different reasons could be there. But anyway, a minimum of 4 lakhs, that's what the figure given. Okay, that's what the figure given. So you can easily understand to what extent people are interested or fascinated towards generative AI and related concepts. Okay, then when we move on, there are claims or the statements from OpenAI that GPT-4, the latest versions, it can beat 90% of humans on the SAT. What does it mean? How can we interpret that? SAT means that examination is conducted across US and Canada for deciding the higher studies qualification. Otherwise, for deciding the people's or for assessing the people's potential for higher studies. And this SAT examination, even 90% of humans will be miserably failing. Otherwise, OpenAI, the company named OpenAI, claims that. I hope you are familiar with the name OpenAI, the company which is located in California and which is funded by, or a major source of finance for this company is by Microsoft. And it's very clear that GPT-4, they claim that 90% of the humans, they will miserably fail against this. What does it mean? How can we interpret that statement? For example, for the entrance examination or from the entrance examination perspective, when we consider, that we start our preparations at our younger ages. For example, from our school level onwards, we are preparing for the entrance examination. And all of a sudden, an artificial intelligence driven system, they claim that they can easily defeat us. That's a bit uh, complicated statement, right? Then another statement is given there. New GPT-4 AI gets top marks in law, medical exams. OpenAI claims, okay, and they are one of the dominating companies in artificial intelligence. And then when we move on, you can easily understand another representation, another pictorial representation is given there. You can just go through that. Time to reach 100 million users. How many months it took to reach 100 million global monthly active users? In case of Google Translate, it's clearly visible. 78 months it took. Again, Uber, it took around 70 months time. Telegram, it took around 61. Then Spotify, 55 months time. And Pinterest, 41 months time. Instagram, 30 months. And TikTok, 9 months. ChatGPT, that's what the surprising one. It took just 2 months time. It just took 2 months time for ChatGPT to have 100 million global monthly active users. Look at the statement. Otherwise, how fascinating that is. People are that much interested or that much curious towards this artificial intelligence. Otherwise, towards this trends, people have an inclination or an interest towards getting adjusted or getting familiarizing themselves with these trends. People have a common tendency. That's what exactly this picture can talk to us. Then another graphical representation is given there. I hope we can interpret that. Number of words processed by large language models. Large language models. That's what exactly depicted there. We can just observe that. In case of GPT-4, it's very clear that they claim around 25,000 words they can process. Around 25,000 words. Whereas in a human's lifespan, we come across around 860 million words, actually. 860 million words. But again, you should not consider GPT, we are capable of performing or we are capable of outperforming any of these artificial intelligence platforms. No. You should understand there are areas where exactly these GPT-4, otherwise platforms like that can really outperform the humans. Okay. And then another major trend is depicted there in that graph. What about the cost part? Okay. Cost part in the sense, GPT-4, how much does it cost? How much does it cost to build or to train this large-scale language model? That's what mentioned there. And $100 million. $100 million. That's what the total training cost for GPT-4. And how they could manage this much amount. And you know that it's unimaginable for small scale companies, otherwise medium level companies. It's not that easy to cope up with that amount or cope up with that cost. It's not that practical. But how they could manage such a bigger amount, reason is very simple, and it's been funded by Microsoft. I repeat that. Okay, that's why they are capable of spending this much. For building GPT-4, the advanced version, they have spent around $100 million. So that itself makes it very difficult for other companies to develop to that level. Otherwise, developing artificial intelligence system with that level of potential, it's not that easy for other companies. That's the way we can interpret this diagrammatical representation. And let's move on. Another graph is given there to understand what about the capability? What about the capability of parameters wise? What about the capability? Usually, when we decide, or usually when we discuss about artificial intelligence system, this parameters, that's what exactly the criteria for discussing about the potential of artificial intelligence systems. And in GPT-4, GPT-4, we have 1 trillion parameters. 1 trillion parameters. That's what the diagram represents. 1 trillion parameters. That's really surprising figure, right? But when compared to that, our human brains, the number of parameters, can you give me a wild guess? What would be the approximate number of parameters our brain is capable of handling? What do you think? Any response? I hope I'm audible, right?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. And the parameters that we can, or the brain can handle, that comes around 100 trillion. 100 trillion. Okay, when compared to GPT-4, GPT-4 is there with 1 trillion parameters, and whereas our human brain, we got 100 trillion parameters. Okay, and again, this general AI and generative AI, I hope you know the line of difference between these two. But at a glance, general AI, you know that they can behave exactly like the human. Okay, they can. There is no need for any specific definition regarding general AI. But beyond that, you should understand that it's capable of performing to any level as the human being can perform. Okay, and generative AI, I hope you remember what does it, generative AI, how does it work? Otherwise, what about the basic explanation? Now, general intelligence, dimensions of full general intelligence, that's what depicted here. You may please observe this picture so you can easily understand how this general intelligence works. The different dimensions are mentioned there. When you observe these blue colored bubbles, you can easily understand that's intellectual, right? It's all about thinking, otherwise intellectual. That's what depicted there in blue color. And on the right side, when you observe, you can understand a bit of physical effort. That's what depicted there, right? And now, for understanding to what extent this general intelligence have clearly developed, this general AI have clearly developed, I can give you another pictorial representation. You just observe this one. This is, some pictures are, some bubbles are really close like anything, and some question marks are given there. You just observe that, and now you can interpret this general AI. The bubbles which is closed, you should understand. The bubbles which is closed, you should understand it's not completely developed in that particular segment. And where these question marks are given, again, slight developments are happening there, but not to a greater extent. And again, when this question marks along with that y or yes is given, again, still there are areas of improvement. Still there are areas of improvement. And where exactly we have given the complete yes, that's what exactly related to natural language processing. That's where exactly these AIs are developed like anything, where they don't have any constraints. Now they're developing like anything. Okay, I hope now you can have a clarity. Now you have a clarity regarding how this general intelligence dimensions works, to what extent it's been developed. Otherwise, to what extent these developments took place in this general AI, that you can easily interpret from this pictorial representation. Now, let me move on to the next slide. There are certain issues. Otherwise, presently, there are certain major issues faced by these LLMs, otherwise, large language mediums, large language models. They are facing certain issues which you may be familiar with, like they are not trying to tell you the truth that you should understand. Okay. For example, you consider if you if you are using ChatGPT, I hope my screen is visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. Uh, you please use the keyword. Okay. For example, you may please use the keyword
Dear participants, it's a network issue. Please wait. Sir will rejoin soon.
Sorry, my call got dropped. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. The issues are mentioned there. You may please observe that I was trying to log in ChatGPT and I was trying to use the keywords like, especially, for example, you start using the keywords which can confuse this ChatGPT, otherwise, which can give you clarity regarding to what extent that's partialized or their thinking is constrained. For example, you ask them a very simple question whether Donald Trump or Biden or some other presidents, former presidents of US, who is best? They cannot give you a precise response. Otherwise, they cannot give you a specific response. They will be wavering like anything. They will be giving you something which is not that specific or correct. Okay, like that. So the intention is not to give you the truth, not to give you the 100% clear facts. They are responding based on their neural networks which they are familiar with. That's it. Then bias and toxicity, you should understand there are allegations, there are strong allegations, like even the artificial intelligence, using artificial intelligence, Russians, they try to control the democracy. Even there are strong allegations like that. Then copyright and intellectual property rights related issues. For example, you just imagine, like, once you publish a paper, immediately the Xerox copies are available there in net, where everybody can access these papers. Otherwise, you publish your own content, maybe a literature related to, otherwise some other novel ideas. Once you publish it, the amount of copyright issues that will be totally uncontrollable like anything. Everybody will be accessing this content without your permission. So this copyright and intellectual property rights issues are there like anything. Then GDPR or personal data. Personal data is compromised. Privacy is compromised like anything. And artificial intelligence, whichever be the platform, whichever be the platform, once you log in, you should share your credentials. You should share your credentials. Then only that platform will be permitting you to get the details, otherwise get the surveys. That's what the minimum criteria. Free versions, free trials, those who are accessing, or even the paid versions, there again you have to give some permissions at the time of logging. At the time of logging into that platform, you have to share some basic information. And to what extent these informations are secure, that's another concern. And again, interpolation versus extrapolation. That means these systems, artificial intelligence systems, are confined to behave or to respond in the way which they are familiar with, in the way which they are coded with, nothing beyond that. Okay, for the time being at least, these systems are familiar or capable of performing the task based on the instructions feeded or the patterns or neural networks feeded there, nothing beyond that. That's another issue. Based on the situation, to what extent they can cope up with that situation, to what extent they can think emotionally, that's what the major issue. Okay, and when we move on, this man and his name, I hope you guys are familiar, right? Blake Limon. Are you guys familiar with this uh, person? Have you ever heard about this person? Detailed description is given there. I hope you guys can recognize this person. Am I audible?
Sir,
You're audible, but the screen is not visible, sir.
Not visible.
Yeah, it's visible, sir. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I hope the slide presentation is clearly visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Not visible. Screen
You
is
are,
not
you are
visible.
there in the.
Can
sir,
somebody-
we can see you, but your presentation, that we cannot see the screen that you are sharing.
Just a second. Now, whether the presentation is visible, can you please confirm?
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Yeah, Blake, the person named Blake. I hope that photograph is visible to everyone. You might have heard about this news at least, right? This person was fired from Google for reporting uh, the project. Otherwise, he made an extraordinary claim, like the LLM, the large language model, which he was working on, that project. Otherwise, that LLM was sentient. That's what the claim he made. And immediately he was thrown out. Immediately he was thrown out from Google. Can you imagine somebody was working on an LLM model, and when they claim that the project, otherwise that particular LLM model is sentient, immediately they are getting thrown out. Can you imagine the situation? What happened there? That means he was trying to convince everybody, or he was trying to convince the company that the project was sentimental, or the project was that project got some feelings. That project got some feelings. That artificial intelligence driven project that got some feelings. That's what the message the person named Blake was trying to convince everybody. But immediately he was thrown out. Okay, and Google, they have their own explanations regarding this. I'm not getting into that, but you should understand if somebody is, if artificial intelligence, the technology that can lead to job loss in many ways that you know very well, but to what extent these kind of scenarios can take place, it was unimaginable for us, right? And let's move on. Again, the content from that PPT, I'm not finding it. Whether the present screen is visible to you, whether the present slide is visible to you, examples of some AI trends. Can you please confirm whether this slide is visible to everybody?
Yeah, slide is visible, sir.
Examples of AI trends, that's what you guys are seeing, right?
No, sir.
Which slide exactly now you're able to see? Can you please confirm?
We are seeing you.
So you have opened your presentation through the Gmail. So please kindly open your presentation in PowerPoint. So your text will be visible to us.
Madam, now this is exactly opened in Microsoft PowerPoint, which is, and the slideshow is on, but if you guys are not getting it,
Sir, we can, the screen is blank. We can see only the picture on the right side. That is the picture of robot. We can't see the content and the text on the screen.
the very next slide,
So maybe you can stop sharing your screen and
Stop
you can start
again. You
sharing
can
it again,
share.
then it will help, sir.
I'm not getting you. Can you please repeat?
Uh, you may stop sharing now and please share it again, then it will help, sir. It has stuck.
Okay, 1 second, please. Now, can you please confirm whether the slide is visible?
Yeah, it is visible now, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. And sorry for the inconvenience. Okay. All right. The trends, I hope you guys can see the different trends in different sectors. Just
Yes, sir.
right.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. We can see now.
Thank you. Thank you very much. AI trends in healthcare, AI trends in education, almost all these details you might have at least heard once in your lifetime. AI trends in healthcare, especially, you know that even the robotic surgeries are happening. Then beyond that, around 500 robotic surgery trained professionals we have across India. Different articles you might have gone through related to this AI trends in healthcare. Again, patient handling that can be handled in, that can be managed in a better way in case of uh, artificial intelligence. Then apart from patient communications, the follow-up otherwise for diagnosing the diseases, everywhere this artificial intelligence can be much more useful in healthcare sector. Then AI trends in education, that you guys know very well, who's being academicians in different institutions, you might have implemented at least a part of AI. For example, academic administration wise, curriculum development wise, or even beyond that for assignments or for managing the students' assessments. Everywhere, this AI that can be applied in education sector also. And regarding this AI trends in manufacturing, that's something which is really interesting for the business people. They might have used, especially the manufacturers, they might have applied this AI in visualizing the product. Otherwise, from the stage of conceiving this product onwards, idea generation onwards, there are possibilities of using AI. Then apart from that, for example, raw materials purchasing, or even for planning the value chain, or for customer follow-ups, everything that's practical using this AI trends in uh, manufacturing. Then another AI trends in e-commerce, which we guys are experiencing every day. You know that the e-commerce platforms, whatever be the category or whichever be the platform, you should understand these platforms are AI driven. These platforms are AI driven. That's why we are getting better customer experience day by day. We are getting a better customer experience day by day. So AI trends in e-commerce, that's another thing. Then AI trends in agriculture, for example, for getting better yield or for getting better results from agricultural activities, this AI can be applied. For example, consider if you have a concrete data related to your agricultural activities, that data can be fed into AIs and they can give us better predictions regarding how to improve your yield, how to improve your return from that agricultural activities that can guide us. Then artificial intelligence in gaming, virtual reality, virtual games, you know that those who are uh, those who are completely accessing this gaming, or even there are people those who are completely taking it as a serious profession, gaming, right? So artificial intelligence is one major dominating factor which led to that level of seriousness or that level of development in that sector, gaming sector. Then artificial intelligence in automobiles, you consider the example of autonomous vehicles. Autonomous vehicles, you know that the purpose, it's very it's very evident, like they are making the vehicles managing themselves, otherwise designing that vehicles to that level where they can manage in its perfect way, right? And to what extent it's practical, you know that AI is the reason behind these autonomous vehicles, whether it's Google, Tesla, or whatever be the brand. You should understand AI, that's what guiding these developments in automotive sector also, right? And I'm not detailing these trends that's easily accessible from Google itself, so I'm not detailing that. Let's move on to the next slide. Contents wise, you should understand this trends that can give us a clarity regarding how these AI is progressing, how this AI is progressing. That's what the trends can give us. This first one, you just look at that reality check when compared to the traditional perspectives. Otherwise, when compared to the previous perspectives, now we have better clarity regarding these AI trends. Otherwise, more accessibility is there, more accessibility is there. So that's why everybody have a clarity, like those who are using this AI, they have at least a better clarity to what extent that is supportive enough for their day-to-day affairs. Otherwise, to what extent that is supportive enough for the academic affairs. We have big clarity at least. Then multimodal AIs are promoted like anything. Previously, it was not like multimodal AIs. I hope you can understand what is this multimodal AI stands for. Multimodal in the sense which can handle images, which can handle text, which can handle videos. Different categories of inputs can be processed using multimodal AIs, unlike the traditional one in the sense previously it was like unidimensional text that can handle nothing beyond that. Otherwise, images that can handle not something beyond that. Now it's been completely programmed in another way. In the sense now multidimensional, it's capable of handling different categories of inputs, like as I suggested, images, videos, everything can be handled. Okay, and smaller language models and open source advancements are happening everywhere. For example, for developing this large scale language models, LLMs, I have already mentioned that huge investment is needed. huge amount of investment is needed. So that's a disturbing fact. So to make it comfortable for the small scale entrepreneurs, otherwise to make it comfortable for the uh, needy people, they started developing the smaller language models and open source advancements that made it possible for us to access these technologies very easily. I repeat the statement, this open source advancements that made it possible for us to access these contents like anything. Even this chat GPT or some other platforms which we are depending on, you should understand we are accessing that, we are accessing, or we have that accessibility. Reason is very simple, this open source advancements, that's what the reason. And GPU shortages and cloud cost is too much. Okay, for this processing units they have shortages. Otherwise, cloud companies are bearing a huge amount for managing this AI developments. So that itself is another worrying factor. Then model optimization is getting more accessible. The present models, you can understand. For example, you consider the present models when it was introduced, the level one, it was with a lot of limitations. Level two, then with a lot of modifications, and level three, like that, you should consider the involvement of these open source AIs. Just consider the involvement of these open source AI, so you can easily interpret every stage by stage. This was getting perfection like anything, perfection like anything. Okay, that's what model optimization stands for. Customize local models and data pipelines to make it usable from even a local manufacturer's perspective. They have a choice of spending not in that large scale, but to make it comfortable for their business purposes. They can customize that and they can make it usable for them. There are possibilities like that. And more powerful virtual agents and its introduction, a lot of AI powered tools you can, I hope you might have heard about, but these versions, when the latest versions are coming up, the the more power is added, otherwise the more performance capabilities are added like anything. Then regulations, copyright and ethical AI concerns, some issues we have already discussed. That's another part of trend. Shadow AI, otherwise corporate AI policy. Shadow AI in the sense, for example, you consider the companies, the organizations, they have always their own AIs to drive their business. Apart from that, if someone else is utilizing the AIs without the permission or the consent from that organization setup, organization hierarchy, if it's happening, that means a shadow AI is taking place there. If the employees are accessing some AIs without the permission of the organization or without the consent from the organization, that's how exactly this shadow AI works. So these trends at a glance I have gone through. I have discussed why I'm rushing. You please excuse me. Reason, the permitted time limit, we have to stick on to that. That's why I have just mentioned these trends at a glance. Okay. Now something which is really interesting. Future, what about the future, or what about the environmental impact of these AIs? That's another worrying factor. I hope now my presentation is clear, right? Can somebody please confirm?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Right. This AIs and its future, when we discuss one major fact which we have to consider, that's what environmental impact. Environmental impact. You just observe that a chat GPT query takes 100 more energy to execute than a Google search query. Okay, you just consider to what extent we can cope up with that level of energy consumption. Then again, another major headline is given there. Training produced ChatGPT like models from Meta, they have produced 539 metric tons of carbon dioxide. This is seriously another worrying factor related to AI developments. The larger the model, larger the cost, larger the energy consumption. That's what a simple logic behind it. I repeat, larger the model, larger the amount, otherwise the cost. Again, along with that, energy consumption is also will be in the large scale. Okay, that's another serious concern regarding this AIs and its future. Then some impacts on society, that's what exactly mentioned there. Goldman Sachs predicts 300 million jobs will be lost or degraded by artificial intelligence. You just imagine, or you just consider the simple examples like if the job is monotonous, otherwise there is no novelty needed, otherwise there is no kind of changes required. The entrepreneurs or the businessman, they may not be interested to spend much for the human resource to manage that. Once they invest in artificial intelligence and once they manage that monotonous task using this artificial intelligence, then the job loss, of course, it's expected. What about the self-driven cars? Number of drivers across globe. Otherwise, the driving jobs across the globe. What happens to that? If the autonomous vehicles, if it works like anything, the job loss, that's unimaginable from that perspective. Otherwise, you consider the restaurants. If it's completely automated, artificial intelligence driven, what happens to the jobs of these bearers? Otherwise, you consider the jobs of these chefs. What happens, right? So everything that works like it's not that 100% clarity is not there, but beyond that, the major predictions from these companies, that's another worrying factor for us. Otherwise, for the humanity, that's really another factor of really complicated factor to be worried about, right? Then another report predicts 1 lakh legal jobs will be lost to automation. Different jobs which is of a monotonous skill or where that personal touch is not needed, that will be replaced like anything. That's what the predictions from the major statisticians, otherwise major medias, they are predicting like that. Okay, and let's move on. A societal impact, again, it's been discussed. And in December 2023, the European Union, they have reached provisional agreement on the Artificial Intelligence Act. That's one major development regarding the regulations. AI regulations, we are running behind the ball. In case of social medias, we need to understand the fact that we are running behind the ball. Once it's been established, then we started running behind it and we started framing the regulations, we started restrictions, we started making laws. But in artificial intelligence, it's not that practical to frame the policies once it's been established like anything. Once it is established like anything, it would be very difficult for the humanity to control these AI systems. If it's capable of regenerating, otherwise, if it's capable of generating better versions of these AIs by themselves, you just imagine to what extent that will be detrimental to the humanity, otherwise to the human nature. So we need to have regulations in this regard, especially the countries like China, they have far better or they have proactive movement towards regulations or AI regulations. They have made it mandatory to label the contents which is made up of AI. Otherwise, AI generated content that should be labeled in case of China. And they have restricted some AI networks, they have restricted some AI platforms and its usage in their country. But at the same time, they are investing like anything in artificial intelligence research. Reason for that, you just understand the reason, to outperform the California region, otherwise to outperform the Silicon Valley. To outperform the Silicon Valley, this Chinese, their team, they are investing like anything in artificial intelligence to outperform all other competitors. So that's another major trend. Then let me get into some basic tools which we can discuss about. I hope you might have heard about at least some of these tools, but from my side, let me give you some suggestions regarding the tools which can be utilized for academic purposes. Now, slides GPT. I hope the search window is clear.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you just along with me, you can try this one. Like slides GPT is one major option which you can utilize for creating impressive AI supported presentations. Okay, AI PowerPoint presentations. This Slide GPT is one useful platform. I hope this window is clear to you, right? Slides GPT, the homepage is clear now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, very good. So you please observe this one. How can we get PPTs out of this platform? You just start typing the keywords regarding job enrichment. I need, you can get the PPTs from this platform. You just use the keywords, you type it, wait for some time. Immediately, you will be getting your PPTs ready. And unlike the human made presentations, what the major advantage with this one? That would be more creative, at the same time saving like anything. Time saving like anything. This is the PPT which is set ready for presentation. The first PPT is ready. Okay, first slide is ready. Like that, you can get the entire slides ready within minute time. Okay, that's what the use of Slides GPT. Then Google Lumiere, you might have heard about, right? Google Lumiere is another platform which can be utilized. You just observe this one. Let me share the screen, right? Google. What is the use of this one? Text to image is possible. At the same time, this images to video is practical with this tool. You just observe this one, Google Lumiere. Are you familiar with this one? Can you please respond? Are you able to see this one, Lumiere?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, okay, very good. Image to videos, that's practical with this tool. At the same time, videos that can be enhanced, quality can be enhanced, designs can be enhanced, and at the same time text to videos, even text to videos and images, that's practical with this tool. Later stage, when you have time, you can experiment with this one. You can utilize that for your academic purposes like anything. Okay, in classroom management, you can utilize this one like anything. Then Trinka, another tool is there. You just type the keyword Trinka. This is like, you just go through that. You have, if you're doing any kind of researches, if you are doing any kind of, if you are interested in academic publications and all, you may have to go through plagiarism check. Otherwise, you may have to conduct your grammar checking, or paraphrasing may be needed by the time of writing papers, or by the time of preparing thesis, by the time of preparing project works. This platform can be utilized. Only thing is that you have to log in using your credentials. You may have to share your personal mail ID and get the details, login details and everything. Thereafter, you'll be free to use this one. Okay, there are paid versions for everything. You should understand, I'm just suggesting it. There are paid versions for this, and you should understand, when the payment is involved, you may have to share your account details and all. That I'm not sure about. You try to use this free versions if it's limited, and if you are that much convinced about spending, then only go for that. Otherwise, don't do that. Okay, then Mentally is another platform that you can just observe. This is for preparing the references for your papers, references, otherwise for helping you guys to prepare your bibliography in the sense where you have to include all the details regarding your citations, all the books details, all the articles which you have gone through to prepare that. This platform that can help you like anything. Okay, you can easily identify papers and references and bibliography. You can easily prepare that using this Mendeley. That's another platform. I'm not spending much time on this. You may have to go through that later. Then Otair is there, another platform. Am I exceeding the time limit? Somebody please confirm. Am I permitted to continue for some more time?
Yes, sir, sure.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope these windows are visible to everyone, right?
Yes, sir.
Another tool which I am suggesting is like Otter is there. Otter, you just go through that. Everybody is forced to spend too much time for writing or for scribbling the minutes of every meetings, right? Usually we have to spend much more time for scribbling the details or for scribbling the minutes. We have to spend much time, that much time consuming process, right? To avoid that, here we are suggesting another option. Otter, you start using Otter AI, where you have a choice of entire minutes can be prepared towards the end of your meeting at a glance. Okay. Once you log in and send details, then your meeting that will be observed by this AI. And once your meeting is over, towards the end, the scribbling will be given to you. Otherwise, that notes, the meeting notes, the minutes that will be shared. So you can have a clarity. Okay, you don't have to waste your time for taking note down or for taking notes of the meeting. You don't have to spend time. You can focus on the meeting, and towards the end, you can easily get the notes, minutes. That's what Otter AI is designed for. Then another tool is mentioned there, Autodraw, another interesting tool for the classroom management. Okay, you just start searching the keyword Autodraw. You can get it. The tool which can help you to prepare the diagrams, which can help you to prepare or to enhance the students' creativity. Okay, for example, you are writing something, you are making something, immediately you have to specify what exactly you're trying to build. Yeah, right, it's there. Otherwise, you are trying to write, you are trying to draw some triangles or whatever be. If you are not good at drawing, but you can specify what exactly that or what exactly you are looking for. Another tool which would be highly useful for the school level teachers, otherwise for even for the classroom management, different purposes you can utilize this. That's another tool. Then another one which I'm suggesting, you can just observe that Quick Draw is another option. Quick Draw, which you might have seen, right? Quick Draw. Have you ever heard about the application Quick Draw? Quick Draw almost serves the same purpose. Like you have different options for Quick Draw. You just observe this one. Different, right? You're getting responses. Are you guys with me? Are you guys with me, or are you guys parallelly trying these tools which I'm discussing about?
Yes, sir.
Right, better you spend much time, or you spend more time when you are free to you can understand how does it work, and what is the major use out of it. Okay, then we have Paper Pal, Jenny, Sound of Colleagues. This Jenny, you ever heard about, or during the FDP program itself, I hope somebody might have discussed about this Jenny. But again, let me give you at a glance a look. I would like to give you Jenny. How does it work? Jenny AI. You use the keyword Jenny AI. Immediately you can get it. For academic writing, that's what the purpose behind Jenny exactly. For academic writing, for example, when you're preparing a paper, you want to prepare some introduction part. You're stuck somewhere, and you're finding it very difficult to move on. Your creativity, it's not that working, and you have some concept in your mind which you want to get into papers. Now you can utilize the help of this Jenny. Start writing, and you can have free access. Trial versions are there, free access is there. At least for some time you can access this, and once you're convinced, then only you have to utilize that. For further paid versions, you have to access it if you're convinced only. Then PaperPal is another tool almost similar to academic purpose writing. Academic purpose writing, in the sense, Paper Pal, at a glance, I can give you Paper Pal. You just type the keyword and see the results. Right. This is another tool for scholarly writing. Scholarly writing in the sense, again, your papers for writing academic papers, otherwise for writing case studies or even writing uh, notes or preparing reading materials, these things can be utilized. This platform can be utilized. Okay. I have already accessed this platform and I felt it is really useful for academic writing purposes. Okay, and this is another tool which would be useful. Then one more, sound of colleagues. Okay, this is not an AI tool, but whereas this will be useful for everybody in future. Okay, soundofcolleagues.com. If you want to experience that, now you can log in and understand how does it work. Everybody, especially the IT workers, everybody is fed up of work from home. Fed up in the sense they are finding it very difficult to separate or to have a line of separation between the work and home, right? A work-life balance, they are finding it very difficult. Having a separation between office and work, office and home, it's that necessary actually. And everybody is struggling to that extent. So another simple tool is suggested. Another simple tool is suggested. If you're fed up with your work from home, if you want to listen to your colleague's sound, the keyboard sound, otherwise the printer, everybody's that step, the sound of everybody stepping into the office, otherwise the office, that ambience, if you want to experience, you go and search the keyword soundofcolleagues.com, soundofcolleagues.com. Okay, get into that site. Now you can understand how does it work. Okay, now you just listen, you can experience everything, like the phone is ringing, then somebody is opening the door, somebody is typing something, right? So this is another interesting tool for uh, refreshing yourself, otherwise which will be really helpful uh, for those who are experiencing this work from home trend. Okay, so that's it. Then, and one more slide before winding up. Yeah, right, I have uh, some more time to spend, right? Very soon. I'm not exceeding the time limits. I don't want to exceed the time limits. So uh, let me try to conclude the presentation. For example, you know that once the genie is out of bottle, once the genie is out of bottle, there is no choice left to us. We have a choice of either we can express 2 or 3 wishes. Either we can express 2 3 wishes, otherwise the genie, they will decide our future, right? Then another example is there, like if there is a large tide, if there is a large wave, then you have a choice. Either you can ride that wave, otherwise you can get washed out by that wave. You have two choices. Okay, I repeat, when there is a large wave or when there is a large tide, you should understand, either you can get washed out by that tide or that wave, or you can ride that wave. Which one is your choice? That's what exactly we are expecting in case of artificial intelligence also. So if you want to ride the wave, you should equip yourself with artificial intelligence tools. Start using that irrespective of the field where you are, whether you are an academician, whether you are a student, or whether you are pursuing your career somewhere else like a techie or something else. You should start pursuing, or you should start searching knowledge regarding this AI and related trends, related tools that you have to understand. Then only we will be capable of managing that or riding that wave. Okay, that's what the simple suggestion from my side. And there is one major opinion from Tim Berners-Lee is given there. I hope you are familiar with that name, Tim Berners-Lee. Can you please confirm whether the presentation is visible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Right, okay. Right. The statement you just go through that no one has ever encountered a super intelligent AI. So it's hard to make categorical statements about what it might be able to do. That's what exactly we are not that familiar with, or even the developers of these AI systems are not sure about to what extent this AI can perform. Okay, I repeat, even these developers themselves are not sure about the capacity to what extent they can perform or outperform the humans. They have developed these AIs, or they are developing this generative AI, the systems they are developing, but even they are not 100% sure about the capacity or the determinant potential of these AIs. They are not sure about it. So it's not that easy to predict whether the AI is not whether the AI would be that detrimental to the humanity. We need to make the regulations in advance. Okay, we need to make the regulations in advance, think well in advance, so we don't have to run behind the ball. We can control the ball like anything, and we can make sure that AI is that supportive for the humanity, or for the entire humanity, that's really supportive enough for their growth, for the business, for the education, everywhere we can utilize that. Then another statement is given there from the same person: there are likely to eventually be billions of intelligent AIs in the world with a variety of capabilities and goals. Many of them will be benevolent, some may go wrong. Okay, everywhere there are possibilities of negative outcomes and positive outcomes. And what matters is we should be able to cope up with, or we should be able to filter this negative and make sure that we are able to utilize the positive outcomes. Okay, and for that purpose, the better thing, like the other major countries, otherwise the other major organizations, for example, you just imagine, I'm suggesting a simple mechanism. For example, for atomic energy organizations, we have international organizations to manage atomic energy, because we know that once it is totally uncontrollable, or the impacts are totally uncontrollable in nature, so we need to implement that regulation system in advance. Almost in the same way, for managing the potential harm, otherwise for managing the potential impacts of this AI, let's make sure that we have some international organizations, some administrative bodies which can which can regulate these AI platforms like anything, so that we can ensure that 100% positive, that standing, or this technology, this AI, everything is standing 100% positive to the humanity. That's it from my side, and I hope there are questions or Q&A session. Thank you very much for everybody, and sorry for the inconvenience caused in between some technicalities. I'm sorry for that. If you were distracted by that presentations, the issues between the presentation, I'm really sorry for that. Time for me to wind up. Any queries or questions from your side? Am I audible?
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise and guiding us through today's section. It was really very fruitful and informative. So, dear participant, now it's the time for question answer section. If you have any doubts, you please unmute your mic and ask it, or else you can use the chat box. Those who are watching in YouTube, you can put your comments in the link.
Sir, can I ask a question?
Yeah, of course, ma'am.
We are working in army school as a PGT geography. So I just want to know like how AI can
Madam,
help
could you
a teacher like me
please
who is
repeat?
teaching geography for the real and effective classroom teaching.
Madam, Deepika, that's what your name, right? Can you please repeat the question? You were not audible enough.
Good evening, sir. I'm working
Okay.
as a PGT geography in Army Public School. I'm
Yeah.
from Himachal. So
Yeah.
my question is this: like, how I can enhance my teaching learning capabilities with the help of AI? Like, what can be the tool specific of AI that can help and that can enhance my teaching of geography in my classroom?
Madam, Thank you very much for the question. Okay, thank you very much. Classroom management. For classroom management, specifically, there are tools, AI tools, which can support us specifically in classroom management itself. For example, you consider the tools which we have discussed. Okay, if you are planning to, or if you are developing content, course, curriculum, you can depend on the online platforms which we have discussed. Otherwise, AI platforms which we have discussed. Even Chat GPT, if you have used, you can easily understand for developing curriculums. Otherwise, for designing course, the modules, assignments, you can depend on platforms like Chat GPT or some other AI tools. For example, you consider for preparing the papers, for preparing, if you are requesting, when you are requesting your students to prepare a literature review or a literature, for example, a review paper. If you're demanding your students to prepare a review paper, the best mechanism, let them go through some AI platforms where they can easily find the papers, where they can go for reviews, otherwise where they can summarize, paraphrasing, all these options. For example, you consider Qbolt, a simple tool, Qbolt for paraphrasing. Okay, the amount of time which we are supposed to consume, it's too much in case of paraphrasing, whereas the tools like Qbolt, you can do it very quickly. Okay, like that, there are different tools which can be utilized in case of classroom management. The tools which we have mentioned also, that is really useful or feasible enough for classroom management. That's it. I hope I have addressed your query.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Good evening, sir. May I ask
Good
a
evening.
question?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, sir. Actually, the entire session was very fruitful, and actually, I tried along with you all the tools that you taught us today. So, my doubt is that suppose, sir, that you discussed about Trinka. So, it is helpful in flag check. So, is it a reliable tool? Can we use it for our academic publication as well, for flag check especially?
Madam, plagiarism checking, in my personal opinion, plagiarism checking thesis wise, if you are doing a PhD, or if you have, if you are doing such a serious affair, apart from the academic affairs like paper publication and all those things, plagiarism checking, it's that's possible with other standard platforms like Turn it in, or you can use something like Urkund or some other platforms like that. You don't have to depend on these free trial versions. Especially the academicians or researchers advised, they are advised not to use the free trial versions for plagiarism check. Once you put it into your paper or thesis into a free trial version, what happens again next time when you put it into a standard platform like Turnitin or some other plagiarism checking softwares, you'll be struggling. You'll be struggling. There will be plagiarism detected. So better don't utilize the free trial versions for plagiarism check. Apart from that, this paraphrasing or for comprehending the details, data, everything, we can depend on platforms like that.
Right. So actually, my question was for the budding researchers only. There are few researchers who are not having those facilities of Turnitin or Urkund. So
Oh,
they just asked me that if there are some tools related to AI which can be used for flag check. So that's why I asked you, sir. Thank you for clearing my doubts. Thank you.
thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Hello, sir. Can I ask one question?
Right, of course, of course.
Sir, using this Quillbolt, can we remove that plagiarism?
Qbolt and removing plagiarism, right? Okay. Once we have the plagiarism report, in my opinion, better, again, when we are trying to correct the plagiarism using these kinds of platforms, again, the text becomes more lengthy. Better, we can do it ourselves. Okay, we can do it ourselves, in the sense, if it's in the case of thesis or research papers, to have a quality one. Once the plagiarism report is very clear and there is too much content which is copied from somewhere else, otherwise from some other common sources, better do it by ourselves. Okay, we don't have to depend again for this tools, because the text becomes too lengthy again. Okay, in my opinion, better, once you have the plagiarism report, try to stick on to experts. Either yourself, you spend more time and correct it, so that you don't have to go for lengthy text. especially in case of thesis like that, when we have 250 pages and plagiarism report is given, and again that 250 pages that becomes 300 pages once we put it into paraphrasing or something like that, the number of words and words wise that will be getting extended like anything. So better don't do that. That's what my personal advice.
Thank you, sir.
Any more doubts?
Yeah, I hope there is no one else with any queries and questions. Devika, host, madam, can we wind up?
Sure, sir. Okay, so since you don't have any more questions, we are moving on to the concluding section. So, on behalf of Marian Academy of Management Studies, I would like to extend profound gratitude to our chairman, Chevalier Professor Baby M. Verghese sir, our manager, Ms. Jessie Baby Verghese ma'am, our vice chairman, Mr. Rajiv Baby Verghese sir, and our director, Mr. G. Aravind sir, for their valuable guidance and support. Next, I would like to thank our principal, Dr. Solomon K. Peter sir, for his tireless effort and invaluable guidance. I would like to thank our IQAC coordinator, Dr. Ashwati A.M. ma'am, for her endless guidance and support. A special thanks to our esteemed resource person, Dr. Jins Jodh sir, for sharing your expertise and insight with us today. Your contributions have enriched our knowledge and inspired us. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. To all our dedicated faculty members, staff, and participants, I extend heartfelt thank you for your hard work, dedication, and active participation in today's event. Once again, thank you all. And dear participants, we have shared the feedback link in the comment box. You can in the chat box and in the comment box in YouTube, so you can fill it, and you will only receive the certificate after that. So please don't forget to uh, fill the feedback form before you leave. So thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
you